Welcome to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere with your host, Chris Parker.
And welcome to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere. I am Chris Parker, and I'm based in the Netherlands, and I'm speaking with Karina Besprosvan, who's based in the US, originally from Argentina. And she is a data storyteller, a researcher, and an expert on Gen Z or Gen Z. And we are both part of the exponential organizations community around the world. And I'm just delighted to have Karina here to share what she's working on and tell some of her stories. So Karina, can you please share with us, what is it that you do and why do you do what you do?
Oh my God. Hello, how are you, Chris? And thank you for inviting me here. It's a hard question why I do what I do. I think that from the beginning of my career, I have been working for 20 years right now. And I always try to follow my dreams, my passion from the very beginning. And why? Because when I was going to college, when I was trying to go to college, my mother told me when I was young that I need to be an architect, because she realized that I did a very good drawing and I like painting. So I suppose that I was going to be an architect when I was an adult. And then I realized that I didn't want to study architect. So I said, what I want to do? What is the thing that is passionate me about? What is really that is? So I went to take with a psychologist a test just to understand what are my passions, what I am good at. And really, when you are young, when you are 17 years old, and she said to you what you are, you don't understand really what they said to you. But what she said is that you have two options here, what you can study. Take them, choose, and you are going to do great. Today, 20 years after, I try to remember what she told me. And what she said to me is, you are a very creative person. So you don't need to go only to do architecture, because creativity you can express in different ways. Mm-hmm. So that was very true. So I try to put creativity in all the different things that I did. So I start studying advertising and then marketing. And I thought, okay, I will never do this kind of stuff that I was thinking before. But then I realized that in my everyday job, I put something related to creativity. And when I didn't find that in what I was doing, I challenged myself and I tried something new. And this was the journey of my life, trying to get passionate about I do, and trying to do what I feel that I like to do, or what I want to do, I need to do. And for instance, when I did a career in market research, so I work for 15 years in an agency, in a media company, doing that. But it was so fun for me, and it's nice to say, because I have fun when at the same time that I was working, because I came every day with a different idea, and I talked to my boss, oh, now we need to study women, everyday women, and now we need to study Gen X, and now we need to study millennials, and he said, okay, Karina, let's go, let's do it. And then he allowed me to create from there. When I started with the Gen Z that you said that I am now focused on that, again, it came because I said, what's going on in society nowadays? I need new answers. I need to do new questions, because I feel very comfortable, and I don't like to feel comfortable what I do. So I try to challenge myself, and this is why I do what I do, because I like to challenge myself, ask questions about why I am doing that, why things are changing in that way. And this is the way that I had been working. This is
Yeah,
what I can share with you.
I love it. I love the curiosity, and that's why you do what you do. And now I see, learning a bit about you, that you're involved in a lot of different activities and communities. So how can you describe right now what it is that you do in these communities?
Okay. Again, this is a difficult question, but what I do, but I discovered it, and it's very interesting that we have been talking before just a little bit, because it's happened to me the same that happened to you. When you have the Corona time, you have a different time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the regular time that you have when you need to be a mother, you need to be a daughter, you need to be a sister, you need to be everything. So the Corona time gave me time just to realize what I am good at, what skills I want to continue doing, what skills I need to improve, and everything around. So I discovered that a gift that I have is just to make connections, just to bring people together. When you belong to different communities, you have different networking, so you can understand. And because of my background about sociology, being a researcher, trying to understand people for so long time, that I have been doing conversations, observation, etc. So I try to talk with people, and when I identify a match or a good fit, I put people together. So I am a good opener. I have a divergent brain. So this is what I did with the Corona. I try to find people in different communities. I try to push the communities just to do different things, to challenge, to reinvent, to go for more things, just not to be so depressed, because it's important. Also, I did it in my family, that it's a community. It's the first community that you have. You have 3 teenagers at home, plus a husband, everybody depressed, being inside. So you try to do what you do your best, try to push them.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. And I'm curious, Karina, working with the research you do and getting to know the Gen Z, I guess, community or that population. What is the thing that you've achieved in all that work that you're most proud of?
Okay. Being a mom and a researcher, the thing that I'm more proud, because it's difficult being a mom, believe me, with the teenagers at home. It's more difficult than being a researcher. It's more difficult to be a professional. But what I discovered, and it's hard to discover, and you have a lot of mistakes and you fail. And I got to that because I try different things, and you feel that you are failing as a mother to connect. So what I discovered is that you have different platforms and different way of establish conversation. It's not the conversation that I used to have, like the face-to-face conversation, like the phone calls conversations, or just to say, okay, let's go to do a walk, or let's sit to talk. No, because they have another way of thinking and another way of doing things. So when you start discovering what they like, and you understand that probably your methodologies and your tools are not the right ones, and you need to learn, this is where you are accomplished, when you start learning from other people, from younger generation. And this is part of a discovery process.
I love it. My boys are 10 and 11, and my choice to try to be near them is also to experience oftentimes their digital reality, so playing Fortnite and playing games, and it seems like they also watch. I find very odd, but they watch a lot of videos of other people playing games. And that's actually, with one of my boys, as part of my evening rituals, we sit down and we watch some of these videos and then talk about it. So what other ways, because I think, the generation gap is growing, the population's aging. For people of my generation, Gen X, I think that's what we used to be called. I don't know. What do you advise someone like me to do to better understand the youth of today?
I like you because what I don't want to give you any advice, but
I'm asking for advice. I'm asking for advice.
What I can tell you is one thing, that be yourself, be honest, because they are going to realize if you are going to force playing Fortnite with them and using Discord or trying to talk with them, they are going to realize, believe me. And I tried a lot of stuff. They are going to relax at some points. The first interactions are going to be tough because they are going to think, oh, they are not going to say, but you are old. You don't understand. They think that we never have been childs and we have been teenagers. So the first part of the conversation is tough, but then they are going to relax when they are going to understand probably what you did as a teenager. So probably you didn't play Fortnite, but you played Lego or you played other stuff. And you also use critical thinking, or you use your time for things that you love, and you connect with friends. So you need to find this special connection that connects you with your child, your inner child, with your child, and then things are going to be very fluent with that when you find this special one. And I am going to tell you some funny story with my elder boy. He's 18. He went yesterday to the university, but he came home because of the corona. When all the universities closed, everything closed, he came back home. At the first 2 months, he didn't talk. So we said, what is wrong with him? So I started talking to him. He didn't speak. After 2 months that I had been talking, suddenly he wake up. He realized that, okay, it was time, but he had to process his timing and himself. And it's very crazy what I'm going to tell you, but we start connecting through Zoom. We live in the same house, but we start connected with Zoom because he has been enrolled in the Boston EXO internship.
Oh, great.
During the 10 weeks, I am a mentor. I have been a mentor, and I am a mentor in the community. I was mentoring another group. So we have been connected every Fridays. And then he started telling me, okay, what do you think about my presentation? What do you think? And then we start connecting through work, through something that I am very passionate about, what I do and things that I have been telling. So he was listening for 2 months, and then we start connecting, and something that we found passionate. So I think that passion connect people, no matter the generations.
Wow, it's amazing that he was part of the Boston EXO internship program with Eric Patel and that group. Even though it's called Boston EXO, they really have a global footprint in expanding. So I've recently signed a strategic partnership with them as part of Ebullient to bring my sort of simplicity thinking into their exponential thinking. So I'm delighted to hear you're part of that community as well. That's wonderful. It's speaking of the exponential community, what is being part of OpenEXO and the other groups like Boston EXO? What does this mean to you? Why are you investing your time in exponential topics?
Well, as I mentioned to you, when I find that I arrived to my comfort zone, I need to challenge myself. So I have been working, I told you, for 15 years in a global media company, very huge, one of the biggest in the world, and working with big companies. And after a while, you start listening to the same things, and you know the immune systems. So when you start telling them, okay, this is the way that you need to go, and this is the things that you need to do, what is the answer? Oh yes, the next year. It takes time. We need to hire people. We need to do more research. So I have been working for companies for 10 years. I am not going to mention here, but in the 10 years, they didn't move. They didn't change because they were waiting for the right moment to change. So at one point, I was here in the United States, and I always wanted to learn something new. If you see my career path, I was always learning. So I said, I want to learn something new. And I listened that one person from Boston, from the MIT, he studied at the MIT, and then he was doing a lecture in Harvard. He came here into Miami, and he was offering a lecture here in a college, in the Miami-Dade College. And I said, this is my opportunity, because it was for every kind of students, also for me, that I am an older student. So I went to take the course. It was very funny because it was so hard to enroll me at the course because I was not a student, a regular student. So it took forever to enroll, but I was enrolled at the university, and I got my university document, everything. So he started talking about consumer-centered design and innovation. And he brought to me in 2015 all the entrepreneurial aspect that I wasn't very connected to that because I was working with big companies. And in 2014, I did a regional event, a regional conference, because I was the regional research director. So I brought everybody to Miami. So we did a conference, and I told everyone, okay, to this conference, they came from all the different countries in Latin America. For this conference, please bring one or two entrepreneurial companies that you think that are doing great, that you think that are going to disrupt our business. They thought that I was crazy. It was 2014 for a global media company. So they came, we did a very good 2-day workshop, and we took notes. And when I gave my notes to the general manager, he said, okay, Karina, this is nice, but go back to business. And I said, but this is business. They are going to disrupt us. But you understand me, it was, I was start to feeling that it was a disconnection, and there was a new group of people and blood that it was making new stuff. And there are, did another course at the university, again for entrepreneurs. And then I went to Singularity University. And one thing lead to another. I connect Marconi Pereira from the community. We were having lunch in Singularity. And he said, Karina, where are you based? I am based in Miami. Oh, I know these people in Miami. And that is the magic of the community. He introduced me with one person, and this with another, and this with another, and I start growing in the community, and I start building connections. And I did my first project that I love it, and it was with a Fast Track Institute. We did the mobility project for Miami, and I was so honored to be part of that, because also it is my city. So to improve the mobility in your city, you say, wow, you are part of something that it's so interesting. And I couldn't stop. Because you find, as you mentioned, you find one person after the other that are involved and they want to do and to transform the world for a better, and that's it. And this is.
Yeah, I love it. And when we were talking before, through the community, we both know Luciana, who's Argentinian by origin, and she's living in the south of the Holland, and I know her as well. So it is an amazing community of absolutely incredible people. And for those listening, you can go to openexo.com, and that is a free community for exponential thinkers and doers. And they have a foundations course that you can take for free to just have a bit of a taste of what we're talking about. And then they have other certifications and things that are available, which is absolutely brilliant. So Karina, on your profile, it also explains that you're a keynote speaker and you do some advisory work. What sort of, I guess, services or what is it that you can provide organizations based on all your research and knowledge?
Well, at the very beginning, I started doing research as probably the first time research that you can have, knocking doors of the people. This is how I started. I started knocking doors and doing my research with a paper. And from there, I did a career in the research area. So I am very involved in this area, but with a focus in strategy. I am not only a researcher, but I do research to apply to strategy and to have and to give people better decisions to planning, positioning, branding, etc. So and the last year, the thing that I like the most is to be involved in talents, combining the new generations with the future of talents and the future of work. Gave me a good background about understanding how the future of work is evolving with all the new generations and what they want, not only at home, but how like are they to stay at the work, how like are they to use their time, how you need to connect with them, engage them. So I start working as well, doing research for companies that want to understand how to engage the new generations and how they need to attract the new generations. And I did different research for Latin America, for different companies at this point, because they are struggling and more today that everything is virtual. They don't know how to use the Zoom to engage or to do interviews, for instance, or what type of interview, what type of skills. So there are a lot of questions regarding the future of work and the trends that are involving generations and work and education, that a lot of companies try to understand how to match and how to also position their self in this particular topic, that it's brand positioning, but for attracting talents. They are competing for the best talent. So what I like the most is to, regarding the speaking, is just to, I have been involved in conference from the very beginning when I start developing research and using new tools just to understand and to give answer to bigger questions. And one goes to another, and people invite me, and people ask me, Karina, can you come here and can you explain? Because you are very clear when you speak. So I like it, and I try to go wherever people ask me to go, or when also I present my paper, because I love to do that, to do some research and present my topics just to everybody. Just it's like to democratize knowledge. So I have different research that I am invited to talk about. I have been invited lastly to talk in Chile in November, in a congress that is related to women, to empower women as well. I had been with Simon Knopp from the exponential community. Also, I had been invited to speak in the university where he is. I enjoy explaining and giving people ideas on how to do their research and how to better understand what's going on in societies.
Wow, you are really busy, and you're also working on a book. I understood from some of the notes. How do you find time for the book, and what is that about?
It's very difficult to find time. This is why the corona. I like the corona to last year. I like to use data. This is why I'm calling myself a data storyteller, because it's not only to tell stories, but to base on data. So once I start doing my research, starting with the new generations 5 years ago, starting with Gen Z and with the future of talents, the future of work, I do also on Tuesday a writing course. So I write short stories, and we read it with friends, and we have a teacher. And so they said to me, Karina, why don't you write a book? You have done so many research in your life. I cannot count with my fingers the so many research that I have done. So somebody said, Karina, why don't you try and write a book? And I say, why not? And I try to find time and to put all the things together, the chapters together, and discuss with people, because this is also what I like, not to work alone. So to discuss with people so they can also show you what you say, what is wrong, what is good, correct you. So this is the way to find time to do it collaborative.
Oh, lovely. And is there a certain theme of the book based on your research, or is it the same themes that you're already speaking about?
No, it's the same. It's called Gen Z Rules.
Oh, wow.
And it's talking about the rules of the new generations and why we need to care about that. As you asked me for the advice, it's like every generation comes with their own rules. Our generation as well, the millennials, the previous generation. So in understanding the rules, we are going to have a better path, a better communication, a better structure.
What's an example of a rule from our generation or their generation?
The way of communication, the way of understanding culture, the way of understanding technology, the way of understanding economy. The path to success. There are a lot of different rules that if we understand, the problem now is the technology gap is bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And what we think is going to be great for them to know, they already knew. They already know that. What you and me needs to do to learn something, and we say, oh, it's going to take forever, and we need to go and we need to read. For them, it's basic. Yeah. So we have also different timing, different attention span, different training. The way that our brain works is also different. I did a lot of neuroscience studies comparing generations as well. And so you can see the way that they interact with platforms. Of course, when you see the patterns using mobiles, so my mother needed probably 20 minutes to discover something in the mobile, and not my children, but my nephew, that he's 4, probably he used 8 seconds to discover the same. So the brain uses a different pattern. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's this has been a lovely discussion, Karina. You're like so many people in the exponential community, just endlessly curious and so eager to share. So I really appreciate your time today. If people would like to get in touch with you, you can find Karina on LinkedIn, and I'll put the link to her LinkedIn profile in the show notes. I'll also put the link to openexo.com and also Boston EXO, which are basically some overlapping communities of exponential thinkers. It's marvelous. So, Karina, thank you so much for joining. I've enjoyed the conversation and discovering what you're working on, and I'm appreciating your advice. Thank you so much for joining.
No, thank you very much for you, and have a lovely day. Bye.
Learn more at ebillion.com/podcast.